Check, check, check. Check, check, check.
Left turns right. Oh, what have I done? Seems like there's always 1,000 reasons. The frozen morning, I see your face in ink, an airmail stamp. Whoa, hide or shelter me. I was trying to decide what life should be like.
Hey guys. So the OBS showing that there's sound. Let's just double check so um, you know, so I speak to you, not to myself. Hi Orange. Hi Matthias. Hi Anton. Hi everyone. Alright, cool. So I was a little late today, everyone, because the reason for that, I was trying to set up this mic, and I was, you know, someone suggested to, I don't remember who that was, to upgrade. It's a good idea. So I bought this mic. It's supposed to be good enough, but unfortunately, I need more shit. It's time to start building the streaming setup, I guess. So I'm thinking instead of just getting this, maybe it's even better to get like something like this. Hmm, how we call it? That's so crazy. I can't believe this is real. I'm looking for I'm looking for um, the keyboard. This one. Where the fuck is the keyboard? I forgot the name. Yes. It looks like this. Anyway, yeah, but I think I'm curious of the timeline. That keyboard was built like, let's see. You see, this was done. Um, this was done 2007, 13 years ago. Crazy. Yeah, I have similar, but yeah, I think that's what I need. This I think that's what I need. Which is kind of stupid, because I just got a mic. Uh, that's what I need. Anyway, anyway, What else is going on? Optimus was produced. Optimus was produced. It was sold. It just was very expensive. It was like $1,000 or something, but it was sold. It was produced. It was at some point. It was like very. I think it just was ahead of the time because now you have this whole. Um, now you have this whole journey with the mechanical keyboards. That's another kind of layer. And so now I'm thinking like making that keyboard work and will tell how much it costs doesn't matter because now they would customize this like a car, and spend money just on like one button, you know. You can you can get like separate. I like that they don't have um this one have, but some of them they have no the blank like this. This is kind of cool. But yeah, I think Optimus was a little ahead of its time. This is kind of cool. Oops, sorry. It's here. This is kind of cool. So now it's this whole fashion for mechanical keyboards. I'm thinking that the Optimus would work. Waytech also looks crazy. That's a um, great product reference. Thank you, Orange. Oh, really? You have a blank keyboard? Which one? How it feels? I always was, not always, just for the past few months, I was wondering how it feels. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm using Apple AirPods, but I just wanted like a proper streamer setup, I guess. Yes, send a photo. I will open it here if I can. Oh, I see. I still have to Google everything. Oh yeah, you're right. That's genius, actually. That's genius. That's kind of genius, man. Let me do that. I'll be back in a second. Well, the ones I have, they they are for iPhone. So, but that's a good idea. This is cool. What's this orange? I mean, what? This is kind of crazy that it's looked like this. How you go? How you use arrow up, arrow down, and left and right? Crazy, crazy. What is the orange thing with these USB inputs in in front of the keyboard? Oh, I see. That's cool. Um, Down and up is holding down the second key from the right. This one. This one, right? That's interesting. So yeah, I'm saying that it's interesting that we all kind of get to the Mac Apple keyboards, but now this wave of mechanical keyboards because people spend so much time doing this. Like, why don't you get something personalized? It's very interesting to me that at the end of the day, we're still seeking for this, like, personalized experience, I guess, even with keyboard. It's very interesting. Very nice. Very interesting. I love the whole setup with the cable and case. It's very nice. This looks like some kind of other dimension reality, not future, but this reality, but from different, this timeline, but different uh, dimension. All right. Um, that was some basic intro, I guess, to our conversation today because I have something to talk about. And today I'm going to talk about lot sound. Unfortunately, we will pause the rollout of that feature for some time. And I will tell the whole story. I mean, not the whole story, respectfully to everyone, but we almost finished the whole thing, and last moment we had disagreement with our music curators about the system. So you see how it works right now. You are in load profile page, and you have this. First of all, you have load, right? And you subscribe to community. In reality, you subscribe to just access to load, to access to this page. We call it community. We were thinking to call it OS or load basic, whatever. This is like the first step to get into load, to get connected. And when you subscribe, you get access to this page. And next, what you have to do, like basically, it looks like this. You get access to this page. Sync is disabled at that point. You have your profile with your credit card and settings and stuff. And then you have all the modules that are available, just one, and future that is coming. And so now to switch on sync, you need to subscribe to community module. So I subscribe to community, I have discount. Then you subscribe to community module, you go to sync, you have this behind the scenes content that we publish for the subscribers and some questions. You see how many people online, like different kind of features here in sync. And our idea from day one was that from day one working on the sound, which is 3 months, and this iteration with modules was that you can only get sound if you have sync here. So basically, if I switch off community, that means that sync goes away, and I cannot get sound. I have community switch on, therefore I have this page on, which is for now it's just team. We definitely think how to make it communal community. So that's the name, and I'll show you the design. How I mean the actually not design, the final product we build it, and this module is $15. We targeted sound for $5 per month. So in order for you to get full experience, you have to get $15 to get the sync operating, and then $5 on top of that to get monthly music drops. Subscribe to the sound and have radio and all the kind of stuff that we talked. So last minute, the guy said that that's too much, and they thought that people will be able to subscribe only to sound, and they didn't like that there's a paywall between sound and uh, audience. And we have this by design on purpose because we're making a system, right? And there'll be more modules coming in, and right now that's the structure. You can argue there are many ways to go around, but for now that's how we build it, and that's what we wanted to launch. And we also target for people who already in a lot community and people who already support it. So we thought that if you're paying 15, adding 5 is not a problem, because we're not really interested in billions of people out there. We're not really interested in someone who have no idea what lot is or this whole conversation right now. So if it will be like, you know, just hundreds of people, that's fine with us. And they thought that that's going to be a limiting factor for growth. And so we decided to pause this launch until we figure out everything. And find a better way to do it. And um, yeah, to me it goes a little deeper than that, but that's kind of the story. So once again, I don't think it's worth arguing on which one is the right approach. Like you can say that, oh yes, charging people $15 and then asking them for five for basically same page is not fair. You can also say that giving people access to this page for $5 and someone paying 15 is not fair. So we have this logical trap here. We can kill community plan, but then we have to charge like 15, 20 per sound, which doesn't make any sense. So another idea, you can subscribe to Lot OS without no modules. Basically, just to get access to this page in general, you subscribe $15. And then you can switch on, we remove community, and then you can switch on sound and other stuff. Maybe, but that's just, again, that's just another story. That's another something we have to build. And we really thought that that's a solution for the next 3-4 months to have this 15 plus $5. They didn't want to launch with this structure. So we also, I mean, understand the position. So we pushed this indefinitely for now. But once again, I just want to show you so you don't think that I mean, not to make any excuses or um, I'm not here to report in a way. I'm here to share that we're doing a lot of work every day. And sometimes some unfortunate or perhaps fortunate events challenging what we're doing. My goal is to be uncompromised on product and on business part of it. Lot is extremely artistic, and without strong um, payment system, we will not survive. And it's not. There's no point to making it. You know. Okay, let me see if I can log in. So that's our test server. This is not live. Only I can see this. And I mean the team. You guys can't see this. So that's what we're supposed to launch on Monday. You hear, I'm paying $15 per month, and I'm adding sound, and I'm clicking update. OS updated. I go to sync. Let's see. And here is my piece here. Just let me switch off all the graphics, even myself for a second. But check this out. You feel me? I cannot preview much, but I'll just show a little bit. I mean, music is not ours, so you have the track list. This is some artwork that we did for every track, every, and so you hanging out here in sync, you know, possibly there, as you know, you can imagine, there are some upcoming features for community, and then you have this music player rolling. That's just the first version of it. Um, Next month we supposed to launch update to this player, and so on and so on. Shout out to Andrei for building this. This was some new restructuring for our backend to make it happen. We spent 2 months working on this player, mostly to make sure that modules work like this. So it's unfortunate, but um, that's what's up. My only thing is that I wish you would see the amount of work that went into this thing and how beautiful it is, because it's really insane. I'll show you a few other things, just as a teaser, but no release date at this point. So this is the press release that we. I know that it's went out, so I'll show a little bit of it. It looks like this. That's the logo, track list, description of what we're doing, description of the bigger concept. That's the artwork, one of that's possible artifacts that's supposed to come every month, not, of course, not tomorrow, I mean, not next month, but eventually you can imagine, some off-brand lot artifacts like fragrance and some devices and um, accessories, art pieces that goes along with the sound. Something smells, something nice to touch, something nice to hold in your hand while you listen to this, like really to create this multi-sensory experience. That's the logo. Yeah, so there's some beautiful, beautiful artwork. I'll show you just a few pieces, not much, because again, I don't want to spoil, but I don't want to disappoint you either. That's one of the latest artworks. So you see, there's a lot of work. This is shout out to Joe. He did some crazy work with this, and entire team really worked hard on this project. Lara designed the new profile page. What I showed you with the player is obviously just the beginning. There's roadmap for the next 6 months how we can evolve that player. There's concept for artwork, just the system and development. Of course, shout out to RDK guys for working on music and working with artists. Once again, there's some miscommunication, I guess, on what we're actually doing here, and that's why temporarily this project is on hold. It is what it is. I never. I mean, before I would kill myself, but now I'm just thinking it's the growth and the process of itself. We working on this thing to make it work. We're working on this so we're working on this to make it work. It's like, yeah, it's very easy to work on something that doesn't work, but we want it to work. And for it to work, you need to put a lot of groundwork at the beginning. That means that there has to be level of trust that is beyond documents. Like we could have there's we don't want to go and sign a contract, and then have fight over that contract. Like, no, if you don't get it, if we don't get it, we should split. It's very simple to me. And um, I think that at the end of the day, no work is ever wasted. We change backend of lot, we updated it for modules, we have this player now. There's a lot of things built and designed, and even communications inside the team while working this project. So a lot of understanding over these 3 months. So to me, it's a big internal process and progress. But unfortunately, the end product is not finished yet. And to me, launching a product that is not finished, not on the level of user experience, because that's kind of easy, right? But on a level of like fundamental level where it's about relationship, it's about trust, it's about mutual understanding. And if there's something that doesn't work, I would just leave it alone, because I learned that every small misunderstanding grow to catastrophe at the end of the day. And it's like, they have this saying, developer's debt. Basically, if you write code, you have to write it right. Otherwise, it's inevitable that you'll have developer's debt at the end of like 3-4 years, and you will have to go back and change it. And so the good practice for developer is to clean the code constantly, put some time on building new things and put some time to clean the code. So fundamentally, it works. And next generations would it will be easy for them to work on that code, and it just going to sustain time and scale and everything. I see the same way now, not before, but now after this year, especially past year, I see every relationship the same way. To me, every relationship is like it's like code. You start writing it, and if you see something doesn't work, you might try to check it and fix it later. But sometimes I just see that it's dead end. And to me personally, it's easier to just call it a day. I learned that about myself. That's why I usually put months and months and months of double checking and working on the developer's depth. Like, okay, if the relationship is not 100% clear from day one, I would put a lot of effort to make it so it's clear. Sometimes I see that it's no matter what I would do, or that for that matter, other part would do, it's just fundamentally doesn't work. There's something that is not clicking, and it's a shame that we have to understand this through work. But how else? How else? Like sitting and talking or drinking. That's easy part. Everyone nice that they drinking. Everyone great and saying yes and understanding when it's like dreaming time. But the moment it's grinding and shipping, that's when people show. And so I'm not talking right now about the RK guys. I'm just talking in general. Like building product is the ultimate check for a relationship, and building something together, period, is the ultimate check for relationships. So um, yeah, that's that's it. Do you not think Lot Sound will drive new subscriptions? Consider pricing community plus sound at $5 a month and getting 5x, 10x the customers. No, that's a very good question, Corey. But no, because we had all possible exposure, all possible news and influencers talking about us and whatever. And the exposure is not close to just working with the community. That's why we're not doing interviews. That's why um, we're not talking publicly. That's why we're not doing advertisement. That's why we're not really don't really care about Instagram, all that shit, because that is all temporary stuff. What we're doing, we're working with our community every day, and that is where it can grow. So instead of working, and that's very interesting product and how we say startup dilemma. Let's put it this way. I don't think Lot is startup, but just using startup metrics to kickstart so it's become successful. They say it very subtly about how usually you're supposed to do it. And Paul Graham said it. It's better to have 10 people who love you than thousands of people who don't care. And that's the ultimate truth about building company and community and user base and customer base for that matter. Because if you, that's Microsoft versus Apple basically. You working, it doesn't matter if they're more successful. It doesn't matter that they're big and Bill Gates is billionaire. That's not about that. We're talking about the best product. And you can have a thing that is for everyone, but in reality, that thing is for no one because you try to please this person, someone else come and they're like, I want to download this stuff. You give them the ability to download. Someone else come and now I don't get a lot. I just want sound. All right, let's check for this. Let's change it for this. Then someone else come. I don't care about sound. I only need a lot. Now we have to, and then you start total mess. We kind of in a little bit in that, but not that much. So what we figure out almost 2 years ago that we're not going to engage with new people. We have enough information out there and enough layers of the story. If you're interested, you can get in and understand and start living this life. And but advertising this life is impossible. Anyone would say, why should I pay $5 to some random site on internet for some random music? Why can't I just get it on Spotify? And that's where it will be impossible to describe this because it's like, oh, you don't get it, it's like it's the whole community and it's like the mindset and you have to wear the uniform and that's like the soundtrack for that life. Like that's nonsense conversation. But then we have thousands of people in our community who get that idea. We don't have to sell them this. The moment we say loud sound, they immediately get the whole thing. So that's why, answering your question, I don't think that loud sound will drive new subscriptions. It will drive more confusion. Yeah, yeah, I agree with Anton. And it's not like why we're using money, like why is $15, which you can say expensive, but on the other hand, it's not. I will also get to this in a minute because I want to talk about this. But this is a real, how you put it? Yeah, we'll get to this. It's like it's about science. Community could in the future become a spot that any participant in Lot gets as a byproduct of their subscription, regardless of what channels they subscribe to. Absolutely. That's the key. Um, that's how we want to do it. But during this time, when we have no revenue stream and we're working on the other, like Lot Sound is a revenue stream, building tools for community is a revenue stream. Working with clients is survival. It's not a revenue stream. So while working on revenue streams, we have to charge people those $15 so we stay alive. Think about it as our own Kickstarter, is our own Patreon or donations, but donations is not the right word, you know. We're not, that's not like we are working every day. It's not some kind of charity. So we want people who attach to this universe and get inspired by it and participate in it, um, have this kind of pass membership, and that allow us to be alive but also more open. And so if people talk to us on support channels in real life, we have opportunity to talk about this, just be a lot, you know. Without that subscription $15, there'll be no lot already by this point, because pandemic froze our manufacturing business, right? So yeah, at end goal, and that's how it was before. You would get your socks, and community would be a byproduct. We switched it a little bit, so for now, I mean for this year at least. Yeah, absolutely. That Corey, that's how it was before. Before you would have here um, T-shirt, home. Hold on, let me switch off some. You don't see it. You would have like underwear, T-shirt, uniform, and then like say self-care, beauty switched on, and by default you would have access to this whole thing without you getting anything. Since this is unavailable right now, we need to introduce this thing. And we start to build, there was no such thing as this feed behind the scenes, YouTube streaming, um, working on some other digital tools for you guys and for us. There was no such thing even in the roadmap. So that pandemic really pushed us to start thinking beyond physical products. You know, of course we were thinking about it before, but this pandemic like just pushed us to make it now instead of in next few years. And think about it, just we were shipping products just 4 months ago. You know, now we completely restructured company. We completely changed the kind of the business model and everything. And we will be able to come back to physical products. But right now, I feel like we made it how it's supposed to be done, where first you have the, I guess, mindset, value system. Then you have community around that, people who support that and research that, and we talk about it, and uh, we feel you, you feel us, you stay, you leave, or we adjust something to make it more understandable or less understandable. That's how we built this um, organization of people. And then it's like culture, right? The family. And then next step from that is start shipping products again, but now with proper foundation, which is community. Before we have you guys, and it was a lot of conversation, but it wasn't as tight as right now. Hi Igor. Hi everyone. Can we say that ARC is the main project right now, is a big goal? It's all interconnected. You, it's impossible to do. It's the same conversation as sound. It's impossible to do ARC without lot, without uh, self-care products, uniform, community, mindset. That is the beginning of ARC, and it works like one thing. So we have to constantly shape it so it's one thing, because Otherwise, we're going to lose a lot and get to a product and market fit and everything that they really want from us. But what we're trying to do here is design a system of products, not a product. But every Wednesday, there's a ARC conversation, and that's the focus of Wednesdays. Yeah, I agree with Matthijs. He said, I think that in order to develop an understanding around the modules, there needs to be a starting point. That's what we learned hard way. We spent a lot of money last summer on doing modules because we had one package. Um, let's call it prescription. So I would get package, you will get the same package, and we can be 3 months ahead of someone else, but someone else subscribe 3 months after us would still get the same package as we get it 3 months ago. You know, so it's like a movie, a TV series, rather than a system, and that worked fine until we start to scale it. When we start to scale it, it that doesn't work. So we come up with modular system where every user, and we call it OS, where every user can pick few modules. And what we end up doing in last summer, is we would have, say, 50 people, 100 people on one module, and that's it. And then another 100 on another module, etc. You know, despite the main subscription, that was like some test group. And we would manufacture thousands of white T-shirts because that would only be in home module. We would manufacture um, thousands of uh, pencils and pens and rulers like for the office, only to ship for 50 people. So that's, you can imagine that doesn't work. I mean, it works at Apple scale, but it's just not on our level. So that's exactly what we're doing. Like, we just have to really slow down and start with stage one. And we did a prototype of just, would it work if we send people same thing? And would it work? It worked perfectly. We won. We proved that that's real. Now, our promise is personalization. So how you get from sending people same thing to get it personalized through the system, slowly introducing one module after another module, figuring out the relationships between people. Because you see, Arc, answering Igor question, Arc is not a separate product. Arc is a module. You can subscribe and unsubscribe from Arc. And if you subscribe to Arc, you have the full experience. You don't have to buy it. You subscribe to it. So this system is priority at all times. We just have to test it from different perspectives. And because right now it is impossible to do anything hardware, we switch to things like sound and digital tools. Let me know your questions. I'm curious what you think about it. Are you satisfied with what speed a lot is developing, changing? I mean, adding new modules, creating and making system wider. Good question. Again, it depends how you look at it. Um, I'm satisfied because I don't see this work as solely product design. There's a lot of organizational design, team design, and option A, great idea, great product, roadmap is there, and we've been there. We know how, and we work with clients, on different kind of speed. Obviously, what happens? Even if you have or get money, you think you invest in product, but and then at the end of the day, you only invest in people. And so imagine this scenario, which is all of them going through, even Airbnb, big companies, except few, they invest into product. Then the situation in the world changed completely. They have to switch. They can't, because people they hired are just robots for that feature. And we were very close at lot to turn into that and go fast, but we said no. Another option is where there's a vision for the product and it's amazing, but people who in they have their own agendas, they start politics, they may be there for money, and they would push it forward, of course, but there will be no love, no support, no understanding of why they're doing it. And then that's another collapse. That's, I think, what's happening with Airbnb right now is that it's like, right, you have this feature of travel, but what if there's no travel in the world? What is Airbnb? Despite billions of dollars, despite 4,000 people employees, despite every office in the everywhere, despite everyday updates, despite astronomical growth, what happens if there's no travel? And Netflix and Apple, they answer this. They design a team at the core, which is not about what, it's about why. And then Netflix needed to change from DVD, sending by mail. They did it. Then they needed to change that to production company. They did it. And they move in every day on the fundamental levels, not on the granular levels, because granular level will take care of itself if the team is correct. Same for Apple. The core team is there for 40 years and they update it slowly because they stand beyond system. And you have Airbnb, where they would hire people from Facebook or people like my favorite is like there'll be some like 24-year-old. I'm no offense of anyone in the chat like this, but there'll be like some 24, 23-year-old person who would be like, I already worked in Facebook and Google and this and this and this, like just CV, like they just go from Stanford, get like 4 companies in their CV, and then they sit there on Stack Overflow, like that's not a team. That's just some NPC you hiring. So to me, the answer of speed is only the team. Once the team is ready, the speed will be there. If the speed is not there, the team is not ready. That's as simple as that, And no matter how fast I want it to be, or let's say anyone, like someone in the team can be annoyed because it's going not as fast as they wish. And we had those people, obviously. It's not about one person. Like, okay, you can go fast, but we have another 5 people. What about them? And what means fast? Doing everything by yourself, fast, or helping everyone and making everyone fast. There's different ways. And so I learned being at Kanye, where it's worked. I won't go in details, but it works on the same principles. I've been at Airbnb, and my outcome is that the team has to be healthy, and When the team energy is there, everything else will get along. And there's no other way. Like no matter how deep I look into things, no matter how not deep I look into things, it still comes to this. And even with the sound thing, it's like it didn't work not because we didn't go fast. It didn't work not because we didn't develop it, or even we had no money. We still figure out to make it fast with no money, on pure enthusiasm, and we build a new thing, but it didn't work because there's fundamental distrust between some team members. And you can't fix this with money. You can't fix it with speed. It's just human nature. And to me, that shit is um, direct influencer on product quality. The reason why our shit is so good because we're doing it right, and right meaning everyone in the team comfortable with the thing. And of course, it's slower, but at the end of the day, you feel that energy because that energy comes from just confidence of what we're building. Like we know that's right, that's right, but that comes not from speed. That comes from being right, and to be right, you need to invest time. I just wish we had more resources. Once again, I believe that that will come when we're ready. So I'm not forcing anything. I'm just enjoying this process and enjoying this conversation with you every Friday, enjoying the streams on YouTube from other people, from Lot, and building this thing slowly because I know that this journey is not for the next 5 years. We're not going to fight with some copycats. We want this to work bigger than we can even imagine. So the foundation is the key. There's no other way to look at it. And it is slow. Is there a plan for Lot Sound now? Like finding curators that are more aligned with the vision? Uh, yeah, absolutely. But we again, to me, um, the back end, the front end piece is done. Now we have to figure out what is the right relationship. So absolutely. Hey, Dania, Daniel, what do you think about Hey as a product? Sorry for off top. Just thinking of Hey team as guys who, at least on surface, show their confrontation to the old order of things. I have deep respect to their team, and but I just think they little old school, at this point, just retro. It's like old guys. But what they were saying about remote first and building product, actually they're talking about the same stuff I'm talking right now in a way that you build something slow, the product, because if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But see, it's interesting with Basecamp uh, that eventually that strategy didn't work because it was nice for like 10 years and then it dropped with like Telegram and Instagram and like messaging. It dropped. Like people don't use Basecamp anymore. They maybe use Slack or Telegram or like some other stuff, Zoom, whatever. But like they, because they're so confident in like that approach, they failed. They didn't develop it. So I don't use Basecamp. Like why I don't do this talk on Basecamp? It's a retro product, and I think their approach is retro in a way. But said that, I have deep respect to them, and I think they use confrontations for PR. The guy is OG. He invented Ruby on Rails and many things, but that PR stunts I'm not feeling it. We're talking about this. Hey, mail. Like this is right. Next subject. Yeah, I agree. With all the respect, really, like they pioneers, but they way behind now. Very, very behind. Just not like the product is great. That's the thing. Like the product, the buttons, the UI is great. It's the vibe that is old school, and that's not cool. Next subject, I will be brief on that. I just then we can switch something else. So yeah, to conclude, load sound, product is ready, relationship is not ready. We will figure out how to build relationship and keep it transparent. So uh, I was looking forward to this moment for 3 months. That was like light in the tunnel for me. Unfortunately, it's not time. So we have to listen to the universe. It knows better. I'm looking for something here to show you. It's a good, Andrei Karabanov. Do you like working remotely? It is hard to sync spiritually with the team and find common vibe. Good question. I personally love working remotely, but that's just me because nothing harder than finding, as you say, spirit and vibe just being by yourself. Extremely, extremely hard. And um, I find this the most stoic approach where you have to find spirits and you have to find powers to not only charge yourself in the morning, but charge everyone else around you remotely, taking effort to call everyone. And because one thing you be like, yo, let's go for a coffee, and you kind of go for coffee and you vent and you shit on others. But I think when you're remote, it's almost different. You have to take an effort to call someone. You don't have to do it just because you uh, you're hanging in the same space. You have to pick that person and call them and find words, and especially FaceTime, it's not that easy, I think. And I find that very real, in office environment, let's say, because then you really see who really want to talk to who. And once again, personally, I love, even when I was working with Easy, they have the best office on planet Earth and you know best people. I would work at home and just come there to show stuff and go back because I find everything distraction personally. So I think that working remotely is the ultimate, if you ask me. But I know many people who can't do it physically, like it's just not in the nature. You need to see other people, have a joke, have a coffee, blah blah blah. So we had office at some point, then no office. I think our next iteration is having a warehouse, um, which will be a mix of office and production facility. So that's the next step. Hopefully, this fall, that's what we're aiming for. Get another round from right people and build Arc and Lot in that warehouse. Right, guys. Next subject is not also kind of dramatic, but I have to talk about it a little bit. So someone sent me this. I of course recognize these images because I spent a lot of time working on the similar shit, as you can imagine. And I wanted to briefly talk about this without any shame or guilt, just express how I feel about it. Let's see if it'll be here. It's one piece of this project, similar thing in a way. That is inner piece for your, it's like a mold for your ear. Let me see if I can find another one. There are many of them. It's another view, but there'll be more like this one. So it's another piece. There's other images here, but you get my point. There are maybe a few dozens of headphones. And so then I see something like this. I just really, and then I understand that this person is, from Lot community, and they use Lot ideas and Lot vibe. You see how it's described and everything. Like it's even written like Lot. I just really lose faith in what we're doing. And after talking to the team, that's my spiritual place, we got to the point that it's just bad culture. And that's exactly the reason why we're doing these YouTubes. That's exactly like, it's just fucked up that all we're doing is protection. We put this online to show how far the universe go, not for everyone to take it apart. Because to get to this image, I needed to just die a few times. To get to this image, we needed to go through so many conversations and obstacles with Kanye. To get to this image, I needed to put Lot on hold and work at nights for easy to sponsor Lot and to make it this vibe. I can go forever on how much work is in this thing and how easy it is just to take the vibe, but then it's there and put it on your Instagram. You feel me? And I don't support this. Um, and then call it speculative design, where we fighting every day to make it real, to not make it speculative design, to make it real. That's exactly the point why I left Airbnb because they wanted to make speculative design. We want to make real things. I left Easy because it was about speculative design, not about building these things. We didn't lot because we want to make it real. And this is just to show, like, no, we know what we're talking about. And yeah, then I see this stuff. It's like, what else? So to me, uh, to me, that's why we charge money. That's why we're doing this way. Because even our own community have no fucking respect to the creativity. Well, it's very easy. Actually, we showed it how to do it. If you go to our lab page, you can see that every section is credited to person who not even worked on this, but to person who created the context, the vibe. Kanye did not work on those images, but Kanye set up a place to work on those images. He set up a story, a narrative, colors, ideas, people, understanding. So I can come up with these images. So we can, as a team, take something from this and push it to lot. And when we take something from lot, we not fucking copy easy. We try to make a next level from that. And when we show it, we're not even building anything, but when we show it, we always give credit, always say who and where it come from. That scenario would be very easy if it would just say inspired by lot. It's about tags. It's like hip hop, verse for verse. It's about culture. If you take an obvious idea, you repack it and you put it on your page, just because you thought it's easier to show to people this way, not the other way. Like if you really want to support the vibe, just put a link to that same product on our page. That's it. That's how you support Lot Vibe. It's very simple. Yeah, and Danielle, you did it right. Like whenever you do something that you feel like comes from the same universe, you always credit. You always would support. You would always tag us. You would call us for talks. You would always say, "I'm inspired by Lot." That's culture, and you're not even doing anything close to what we're doing. But then people, plain and simple, steal the image, the form, the shape, the vibe, the text. You have to credit. You have to tag, because otherwise we can't build the system, and otherwise this whole conversation is pointless. Let's just go raise money from some bullshit investors, close this down, no one enters, and release some bullshit products and make money. Like, why are we doing this way? Why we expose everything? Why we expose these products? So we can get stronger together, not one by one. That's, I just kind of losing it, because it's like, you're right, it's like, if we build this as like hip hop, skateboard, subculture, we have to respect each other and respect each other work. And I can give you a very interesting example, actually, just real quick about this whole. So Giovanna, this girl who did this, she's known for making that filter for Instagram, and we wanted to do filter just because we wanted to do filter. Um, Me, Yemur, um, Sergey was there, and we wanted to do that filter for face, like this blackout. because like that's a great idea for us. Like remember we did it. I don't want to open it. I mean, I should open it probably, but I don't know how to use Instagram. I'm sorry. That advanced. I don't know how to get to those filters, but let me see. Yeah, this one. This you can go, you can check it by yourself. No face. That's the filter. And so we come up with this filter, and Yimur is friends with Joanna, and we were talking, and we just said, let's support her and ask her to do a collaboration with us with that filter. And then every time we would launch, we would call her for a stream, we would show that work, we would give credit basically to her. Although almost the whole thing was done by Yimur, you know. It's like I don't want to go into details and drama. I'm just saying that there's a right way to do it, and usually people like. There's another piece of feedback that I don't kind of I don't understand. Uh, I usually joked about this. Um, I would say this about my mom. My mom would sometimes say, "Wow, it worked," you know, and I feel like that's some kind of um, how you say, it's like putting us down, because of course it worked, right? We spent like our lives on this lab. Like of course every image on lab is just thought through. There's every image like there's hours and hours of conversations, and just uh, there's you can write a book about every image here, and of course it worked. And sometimes I think people go to pages like this. I'm not talking about lot necessarily, and they pick something there thinking that they saw it first, and then they publish it without really doing the homework. And I can hear sometimes stuff like, um, it's a compliment, it's a sign of that we're doing the right thing. My response to that, of course, we're doing the right thing. There is no doubt in that, and of course, it's amazing. We spent so much time working on this. Of course, it's the best possible image that you can find. Otherwise, why are we doing this? And that's why, to me, acts like that, they're not flattering, they just disappointing. And um, if we building culture, as Matai is saying, we got to find a way how to do this right. And there's many examples out there, and for some reason this circle, and that's why I always was trying to be away from all this like arena, all that shit, because they don't have that culture. No offense to the product, but I'm just saying to like the circle of people, New York and everything, they have no culture like this for some reason. And I wish that the credit will be in place. I wish that support will be in place, not just talking. I wish that if you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. That's it. It's nothing big to ask. It's like just be real to yourself and to us, because that's what we're trying to do. I don't know. Probably need to delete this video after, but anyway, you know what I mean. It's a shame, but I don't recognize the vibe, to be honest. It doesn't feel like lot product. Yeah, I know. It doesn't feel, but it inspired by lot. And I find with people like that's the whole point, to inspire people, but not to steal. Like you see something, you take it to the next level. You see, that's not to compare, but like say hip hop, you see whatever, you see like ideally, right? You see one artist, then all the kids try to make it better. Like there was Kanye, everyone like I want to do better. Then there's Travis. with next level from Kanye. He's not just stealing from Kanye; he's making next level from that. And now Kanye is challenged, and um, same with Apple. Like Android doesn't feel like Apple product, therefore it's not. They didn't steal it. Well, no, they steal it. It just doesn't feel like Apple product. They try their best. They invest millions and billions of dollars, but they can't achieve that same vibe because Apple always pushing it forward and keeping up with their quality, their level. But if if something is not the same vibe, it doesn't mean that it's not stolen. You know? Yeah, I didn't want to really talk about this that much, but it's not it's not nothing personal. I don't really care. It's just about it's just about we put in so much work into this, you know, like people who work on this, they don't have lives. We don't go out, we don't have like we just do this shit for years, and that's why it feels like it. And we screaming, I guess, we upload these images and these things online so you can see and spread the word and absolutely get inspired and build your own thing. But when you know and you use as mood board and then you show it to bigger audience without crediting where it come from, that's not hip hop. That's not rap, you know? That's not rap. Join our world or build your own. I agree. That's what it is. It's all free. There's billions of ideas out there. And, you know, it's like, that's why it doesn't work like music. Like in music, you can't do that. Or if you do that, everyone will be like, that's not cool. Because music, you can feel it, right? Or you also educate it, and there's different distribution. With design, for some reason, it is possible, especially with this like speculative design, you know? It's possible to do that because people don't really see the difference. Um, I don't think it's all pointless. People always steal. That's the way people live. I know. It's not, again, nothing even bad. It's not about that. It's just, I'm just puzzled on how to do this right without sounding crazy all the time and whatever. Like, how can we make it so we aligned, you know? And yeah, so we aligned. And, you know, another thing, like, what I have to say this also. It always happens when, um, it always happens then there's like they feel, and this I feel like this happens subconsciously. Then we are a little bit weak, you know. Then it starts. Then it's like, and that's what I can't, like as a human, I can't grasp with. It's like it happens when they feel like they can do it, you know. Because if Lot would be in different position, you can't do it. It's almost like the feeling is like, oh, they just whatever, they just crazy anyway. Let me do it for how it's supposed to be done. You know, that's the vibe. but that's not correct, but I agree. I think that doesn't survive the test of time and culture and recognition. Yeah, of course. I'm not. I wish it would survive. That's the point. Like, I wish it would work. That's the point, man. You know, that's exactly the point. Actually, it's like if you do it lazy, then no one wins. We go down because people like think that that's the way. Then they look at our stuff. It's like, oh, I saw it somewhere, so we become less original, and we not the energy is killed. We got frustrated, but they also not getting anywhere with this because it's not just copy. You have to think about it through, and that nobody wins. And what we're trying to do here is like why it's all open. Look at these samples. Look at the way of thinking. Look at this formula. You can do this. You can build it. You can make it next level. Ask us if you need help here online on support. Subscribe to our behind the scenes. Get all the information. Do it right. So they know that there's next level available. All these fucking corporate art departments, agencies, all that shit. They know that there's a bigger force coming. That's the point, collectively. And then someone from community do that, it undermines all the work to me, in my mind. It's not about the quality. I don't care the likes or where it goes. It's not about that. It's not about fame. I don't give a fuck. It's really about like we either win them or we lose. We're trying to push its unfiltered underground forward. That is not underground. That is a framed, packed thing so the corporate executives can understand or Instagram scrollers can understand. Our stuff doesn't fit to Instagram. Our stuff doesn't fit to corporate executives and shit. But that's by design. Because she was, why do you choose to link with Joanne, creator of the filter, if she didn't create it? Because she was a big supporter of Lot, and she would post it, and she would be in touch with us, and we thought that we met also in Berlin, and we thought, yeah, we are honestly about empowering. You can see how many through how many people we it all went. Like, yeah, no, irreversible. One of my principles is always be giving credit. The point is that everything is connected, and exposing and pulling that in connects people and ideas, and breeds even stronger bonds and raises us all. 100%. It's well said. Even in my personal speech, I tried to put note on anything anyone said. And then in conversation, I would try to always say, I heard this from there. This person said that. He said that. She proposed that. So nothing, and that's what we're trying to be inside a lot. There's no politics. We credit each other and we support each other and we tell um, each other how to make it better without fear of some competition. There's no point in that. And there's no one going to win because we only can win as a unit. Personally, you can win, but you can't win as big as we want to win with lot. Anyway, that's just some thoughts on the subject, and kind of it's all come together, as that sound thing, and um, this small thing, and I'm just telling you some stories. As promised, it's all transparent. What else is happening? I just want to say, guys, please don't be discouraged by this conversation. I know it can feel like, right, then I just don't want to do with this anything. And it feels not nice in general. Like who they are, what they think who they are, and everything. I guess my answer to this is let's try to dream that we can build a new version of that entire thing. New relationships, new families, new ways to work, new money. Everything has to be new. And that's it. I just want you to kind of look at this conversation not as something negative or something that it's a fight, it's a drama, you know. No, there's really no such thing. But it's a challenge for everyone how to deal with this, you know. Not with like deal with this lot thing. Like what we're doing here is not normal. We're not focusing on one product. We're not applying management and growth hacks, you know. We're not working with some default VC on some default pitch deck and everything. Um, we're not using their language. There's many things that we're doing differently, but also we're doing everything according to the book. Just, I think, new, fresh, so we can feel freedom. And yeah, just don't feel distracted and don't feel frustrated by this. And I'm talking to myself as well. Just let's have this ready, and we have to push this again and again and again and again. And all love and all respect truly for everyone who just inspired by this. But I think our team, the writers room, the core team, this chat is few people who get it. Let's really fight for the culture. I'm not asking to fight for a lot, you know, because that's too much to ask, and especially you paying money. Um, but let's fight for just some common sense integrity, and let's fight for better way to do everything. It's not about like we're going to quit our job and just like do this under like not this time. Many people try this. We're not doing this. It's rather apply this mindset to everything you do. Like what is the nice, lovable, beautiful but real thing to do at every scenario, especially if we're talking about this community, especially if we're talking about design. Like it's a creation of something new, beautiful. So um, shout out to all people who inspired by this, and but special shout out to people who um, pushing this agenda forward. Marion Dennis, hey Marion, is the lab hiring? It's we always looking for people and clients. There will be some new updates soon, guys, on the website. I hope that in August we're going to show something new. We'll see. Corey, it wouldn't be worth. if it was easy. I agree with this. I think it's it's just extremely hard to explain. I mean, it's extremely hard to wake up in the morning and feel that you're doing the right thing, because sometimes when like everything is questioned on every single dimension, you're like, right, maybe that's not the right thing. But we have to, like, I'm just getting to this every day. No, it's the right thing. We have to stick with the agenda. Just do it over and over and over until we get to the point of uh, then everyone see it. And honestly, the reason I know this is because every time, every time I would feel down, I would go to this chat, and there'll be people who not just question what is I'm trying to say, but they would add to that in a way like, Varik, you thought that's crazy? What about that shit? Or you thought that's new? What about this thing? And that's what that's what really keeps me going. It's like I really feel this as a writer's room. It's like I go here and enjoy this for ourselves, and that's the vibe. So yeah, just let's push it further, and more and more stuff. Um, yeah, tomorrow, Saturday, there'll be some sync music, sunset with Matthias. Monday, Andre. You can talk. You can ask him. You should ask him more about sound and modules and the software part, the development part of what's going on. He can. You can ask him anything. But I'm just saying, if you want to get deeper into the modules and backend, Tuesday, Monday morning, Tuesday, Matthias again. Wednesday, our new show, Arc One, with your host, Jotsao, every Wednesday. There will be guests, so I really recommend you to set a reminder on YouTube, because that's the show with new people. We're going to interview people from the team. We're going to interview people from this chat. So that is our kind of Joe's podcast. Thursday, YouTube. Lera is coming back soon with talks about products. We have a lot of products at Lot. We have a lot of plans for products at Lot. So she's the person to talk about it. Friday is me, kind of giving you the latest updates on what's going on and some behind the scenes. All love, all respect. No, I mean it. No guilt, no shame to no one. Only progress. Work towards ultimate understanding and zero miscommunication. We are all here to love and be loved, so no fights with no one. Thank you guys. All right, talk soon.